India have lifted the Asia Cup once again, Ayaz. I mean, at least metaphorically, they didn't get their hands on the actual trophy. But here we are once again having to talk about stuff that was not on the pitch, that not cricket related. But right off the bat, what did you make of that whole presentation ceremony fiasco?
I think frankly, Anirudh, this whole Asia Cup has, I think in a way when you look at it, from the in hindsight, it's completely lowered the dignity of the sport, because there has been so much that has happened, which has nothing to do with the cricket being played on the pitch. Now, who's right, who's wrong, is obviously there'll be, it's a very polarized world. But the most bizarre, obviously, was the last incident after the match. We had a terrific final, the match between India and Pakistan. The final was humdinger. But after that, no presentation. The award is not given. One side is taking a position. We will not take the award from the ACC chairman, and the ACC chairman deciding that if I cannot give the award, then nobody will give the award, and I'm going to take the awards with me, or something like that. So I just think it's been quite. It worries me as to where the future of not just Indo-Pak cricket is going, but the sport itself. Because Indo-Pak cricket, I think, is in serious trouble unless the ICC steps in and speaks to the respective boards, and the powers that be also jump in. It could reach the point of no return. And remember, there's the T20 World Cup coming up in a few months from now. So I really wonder. I'm flummoxed as to what's going to happen next.
Yeah, and also the Women's World Cup is also coming up with, again, India and Pakistan will face off. But coming back to the cricket, as you said, it was a bloody good final. I mean, hard fought. Of the three matches that India Pakistan played, this was the most close. And India were getting hot and bothered at a point because, like we asked in the last episode, I was asking you what happens when Abhishek Sharma fails. And we saw that. I mean, even without him firing, India do win, but just about. So, what did you make of the final in cricketing terms?
Well, I think it was a very hard-earned win. India had to struggle hard to win this match, which was not the case in the two previous encounters against Pakistan, which we won virtually in a cakewalk. So, what was impressive about India's performances, when they were pushed to the wall, they came back fighting and fighting really well, admirably. We lost 3 wickets in the power play itself, and that put India on the back foot. Pakistan's total was very modest, another 20 runs, who knows, but then you have to give credit to the bowlers first. Pakistan imploded, and then when India looked like they might be imploding at the top, then you had Sanju Samson and Tilak Verma putting up a fine partnership which retrieved the situation, gave the inning stability, and then Dubey and Tilak Verma. But obviously the standout performance was Tilak Verma's. What a fantastic knock by a really high quality player. I watched him very closely playing for Mumbai Indians, and he's got a very strong all round game. When I say all round, I mean in terms of the mental application. The range of strokes, you might say, he does not have the same range as the Sanju Samson. He's a lot into sweeps and slog sweeps and reverse sweeps, but he's got the ability to size up a situation well and adjust his game accordingly. Not become reckless, wait for the right moment, choose the right ball to hit, great judgment, and obviously a strong finisher, because ultimately the sign of a high quality player is how often, how frequently, and how well you lead your team to victory.
Yeah, and talking about the whole tournament now that it's gone, what do you think are the takeaways for India? I mean, the positives would include, like you said, Tilak's brilliant knock yesterday, Abhishek Sharma throughout the tournament, the spinners Kuldeep and Varun. But there are downsides also, like Sky seems to be losing all form, and Bumrah is not back to where he was. I mean, it's on and off with injury and across format, it varies. But what do you think are the major takeaways?
Well, the major takeaway is, of course, that Abhishek Sharma has kind of become the golden boy of this format, T20 format. Yes, he didn't have a great final, but that you can expect, because in this, it's a very high risk game, and the law of averages can catch up with you very easily or very early. Shubman Gill was a good foil to him, though he didn't get enough runs. Surya Kumar Yadav will be a little, concerned about not getting enough runs, not about. He was also captaining the team. There was a lot weighing on his mind, but I thought that if you look at the from a bowling point of view, I thought that Kuldeep was top class. So was Varun Chakravarti. Hardik Pandya just perhaps a shade below his best, and of course there's the injury niggle that he suffered, which will be worrying the selectors and the team management. I was very impressed with Arshdeep Singh, especially in the match against Sri Lanka, which was also a tight match. And again, there India showed resilience in taking it to the super over and winning from there. And thanks largely to Arshdeep in many ways. So those were the positive takeaways. Bumrah, I'm not so worried whether he's back to his best or not, because he's such a fantastic bowler. Even in the final against Pakistan, he went for some runs in his first spell, came back strongly in the second. Even had a very undisguised take at Haris Rauf, who had got into all kinds of shenanigans in an earlier match. So I think that India is looking like, perhaps I think easily the best team in this format currently, even with a few players not firing. They are the number one team, and they have shown it repeatedly in this tournament why they are. In fact, take away the fact that we had to play Pakistan thrice, and therefore there was a whole drama built up. Barring the last match, it was a no contest for India in all the other matches. I mean, they were just so far ahead of every other team.
Yeah, so but let me also ask you this. I mean, going into the tournament, India were firm favorites, and on paper they've achieved what they set out to do. They haven't lost a game, and they won the trophy. But India haven't been their best throughout the tournament, and some would argue that even that India won because the other teams were even worse. I mean, I don't subscribe to that, but India were off color, and especially with the fielding in most of the games. So at this point, with the T20 World Cup just a few months away, do you think teams like Australia and South Africa are looking at India saying that, wait, hold on, maybe we can beat this team?
I'm sure they're doing their homework furiously, especially against players like Abhishek Sharma, and trying to get at the what looks like a slightly wobbly middle order. With Sanju Samson, he had a couple of good knocks, but not something that to reassure everybody that he's in his best at his best. So yes, I think Australia and South Africa are two teams that will be working very hard. I was actually quite impressed with Sri Lanka in patches in this tournament, but they also didn't seem to have enough gas in the tank, enough fuel in the tank to go out and win a match. They lost two matches very narrowly. Both matches they could have won, and they lost it by a whisker, because ultimately winning matches also demands, it becomes a habit only if you know how to win matches. But if you don't know how to win matches and you end up losing, then losing becomes a habit, and that's the rut that Sri Lanka seem to have fallen in. But there is England, which can be a challenging team. We'll have to wait and see how they perform on Indian pitches. But South Africa is a strong team, in my opinion, as is Australia and our New Zealand. So there is a threat. We'll know soon, because India are going to play both Australia and South Africa very soon in the T20 formats. So we'll get a better idea heading into the World Cup where India really stand.
Yeah, so there you have it. India's white ball dominance continues, and now we turn our attention to the red ball. Now India is playing West Indies, which the first test starts later this week, and we'll come back to you after that. So that's it for this episode of Sports Room. We'll see you next time.
Thank you. Thanks, Anirudh. Take care.